Oh man, DirtX Podcast is proudly presented by DiecastDeals.com. Use code DirtX at checkout for 5% off, and please stay green.
Welcome back, race fans and race haters, to the Dirt X podcast, episode 11. Thanks to my boy Jacob Perry of CushnBangn for the surprise gift. If you haven't seen on X, posted about it. Shout out to the Locust guys. They did a great job with these. Maybe just put a little plug in for them. I know they got some cool stuff on their page.
Yeah, so he does all sorts of shit, man. He does a lot of late model stuff. He can do full, boxes like that are lit up. He does college football. I got him doing a couple, Christmas presents for the fam, so they're gonna do a couple signs or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm gonna figure something out.
Definitely check them out. Really enjoying this, and you're going to be seeing this on our episodes. I wanted to quickly just give another shout out to one of our sponsors, Diecast Deals. As always, make sure you use code DirtX at checkout for 5% off. One of my good buddies wanted to let everybody know that he just picked up this cool Rick Uckland
Oh yeah.
diecast from Dirt Diecast Deals. He used our code and got saved some money. So great looking car. There's all kinds of different stuff, the new stuff, the old stuff, everything in between. So make sure you check it out. Are you eyeing anything up on the website there, Banging?
I keep eyeing that turbo. It's got the turbo dome car #1, and he's pestering me about it too. I want it, but it's still there for now. It probably won't be for long though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Shout out to Daniel Haney for letting us know that he's using our code, and we appreciate the support. So let's get into today's episode. It's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the past 24 hours, including a lot of stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad. Let's start off with the good. Last episode, obviously, we had Dallon Murty, young prospect coming out of the IMCA ranks. Super excited for him. Obviously, if you watch the episode, he couldn't confirm his official plans yet, but today he did announce that he is joining Skyline for 2026, starting at Speed Weeks. Really excited for that, especially down here in Georgia and Florida. Get to see him debut in the number 13. Different look, but definitely cool looking car with Skyline. And they posted about Tyler Bruning and him on today's news. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that? Obviously, we're pumped for Dallon.
All right. First and foremost, I'm gonna treat you like one of my kids. Fix your hoodie thing, your strings. They're uneven. It's bugging the hell out of me.
I'm a Florida man. This is not normal for
All
me.
right.
Okay, it's actually
Yeah,
cold out.
much better. All right. Secondly, I'm stoked for Dallin. I know he is too. I've talked with him kind of off and on today. He's happier than a pig and shit, man. And I hope that Bruning and the fam are patient with him because it's going to be a learning curve a little bit. But there's only one way to go for them too. They've struggled as of late. Like you said, last week we had him on here, and he was very. I don't want to say he was tight-lipped. I genuinely think he didn't know yet. He didn't have the green light. But then shortly after, I think we're going to rename our podcast. I don't think it's going to be Dirt X anymore. We're going to be the Visionaries because it seems to be whatever we talk about on here, all of a sudden, poof, comes the light, right? And it's happened. This is the third time I can think of off the top of my head. So I am stoked for that. The kid is probably the hottest talent right now that's not in a full-time late model that I can think of. He deserves every ounce of it. He deserves a shot. And even any guest that we've had on here has said the same thing. Nick said it. Everybody said it. So I'm stoked to see it. I don't know if he's ever been to Volusia. I'd have to fact check that, but um, I'm looking forward to when he comes back around Iowa in that big car.
Pulling up some pictures of the released render of what the car is going to look like. I think it looks great. I think Skyline does a good job as far as doing the red and the gold, and just looks like a clean race car. Definitely excited for him, especially since like you said, we just had him on, and then the news comes out. So yeah, for a podcast who apparently doesn't only have a couple of people watching us, it seems like a lot of people do enjoy watching us and getting our content out there. So do appreciate the ones who do listen to us and follow along. But yeah, people who are fans of Dallin, I know they appreciated having him on because the kid is only 20 years old. I think we have to remind ourselves that he's won so much in a short amount of time. So definitely bright future, and keep your eye on that number 13 car.
Shout out Bruce for that sick rap, though. I don't even know what the business name is. I just know he's been around for years, and I've known of him and known him for a long time, and he's killing the game right now.
To the bad news part, anybody who's been keeping up, especially with the late model and stock car or modified scene, knows who Barry Braun is. And unfortunately, had some bad news as far as for him. A lot of people are happy about this happening and justice being served. But Barry Braun was booked this morning by Lake County in Minnesota. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was booked in jail. I know Dirt behind the scenes has been doing a good job on Facebook trying to keep track of all this and what's going on. But I mean, at the end of the day, we want drivers to get paid, right? We don't want this to happen. It's not the first time this is something like this has happened. Back in the day, promoters used to try to do stuff like this to get guys to come in and then try to pay them a month or 2 months or or only pay them behind the scenes. They're trying to keep quiet, but a lot going on. What's your thoughts on this? I know it's a big topic today.
It is a huge topic today. And once again, we're going to change it to the visionary because we kind of hinted on this, and good old Dallon had great things to say about Barry. So this sucks, and this sucks overall because I don't know if anybody's ever going to get paid now. You know what I mean? If he's in there, and I don't know, that's above my head or whatever. But let's keep the facts facts. We have no idea what he was arrested for besides a warrant, right? So we don't know if this was a traffic ticket that he didn't pay and all of a sudden they issued a warrant out. Truthfully, we have no idea. We're assuming at this point and we're hoping, right? I do think justice should be served for kind of the rumors going around, and I hate that no drivers like coming out and with a chest out and saying, hey, no, this is wrong. But something has to be done, and there's too many rumors and everything going around for it not to happen. So a lot of drivers are still defending him, which kind of surprises me or what have you. But I think you have that in all forms of racing, and you have it throughout the years. You have shitty promoters and crooked promoters that get defended by great drivers because they're good friends, and I think that'll never change.
And at the end of the day, I think the concept's great, right? We need guys to show love to the guys that aren't national caliber drivers that are racing $100,000 plus race cars every weekend on a national tour, right? Everybody needs to start somewhere. He kind of took that and ran with it as far as having these crazy 100,000 to win races. I mean, last year I was at Alltech for a crate late model race that was 100,000 to win, and we had 100 something crate late models. We had super guys showing up. It was insane, and we were supposed to have 100,000 to win Crown Vic race. I mean, Crown Vics are what you can go buy one from a police station for $5,000 and go out there. Like that's just insane money for these type of cars. So it was a neat concept, but when you start hearing more and more drivers speak out about, hey, I still haven't gotten paid, or oh, he's paying the guy who won, but he didn't get paid for third place or fifth place, like then you start to wonder, okay, is this guy just doing this for clout? Is he actually legitimately paying these drivers? Obviously it's not a good deal. More and more people have talked about it. It does suck, but until we get more information about it, we're only reporting on what we've seen so far, and it doesn't look good. So
Yeah, rumor has it he was stacking the money from the last event to pay for the next event, which never got paid for. Um, and also in the same rumor is that and I noticed this, but I didn't put two and two together when it was happening. But his last few bigger late model races, you had two or three top guys there, right? If you're at the top 10 of dirt on dirt, whatever bullshit ranking you want to use, you had two or three of those guys there, and I mean, the writing's on the wall. Any fan with any tenure in here knows that that was paid to show money, right? And they pay them so they come back for more because he needs them to bring other cars. But a lot of people started missing the events, and I couldn't quite connect the dots as to why. And now we know. Like I said, strictly rumors. Nothing's been confirmed. We have no idea why he was arrested other than a warrant. I hope everybody gets paid, and truthfully, he could piss away. But
definitely, I think you even made a good point off camera before we came on about some of the events that he was running, and a lot of people were asking, where did XR Series go? I mean, I feel like
yeah.
last year they were like almost at the top of have they ever been. Like a lot of people were tuning in and watching, and even some of the super late model races that they would only have like 12 to 14 cars, but you had guys like Devin Moran, Ricky Weiss, RTJ, like a bunch of top national guys showing up because of the money, right? So
Mhm.
it's definitely a lot of suspicious stuff going on, and like you said, we're just reporting on what we've seen so far. So just stay tuned on that.
If you didn't think 100 grand to win Crown Vics was the top of this market, then I don't know what to tell you.
Moving on. So this past weekend, Charlotte World Finals. I'm sure everyone was tuned in for that. If you weren't, you're probably living under a rock. But All three series finished up their 2025 season with the World of Outlaws, Real American Beer Late Models, World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Long weekend. I know a lot of people were skeptical going into it because the weekend before at the World Short Track Championship, the track was rough. It was bumpy. It was bad. People were getting their stuff tore up. So a lot better track conditions. It did up raining on the final morning before the races. But overall, solid racing. I know Ruben kind of stunk up the show on the first night with that incredible finish. What are your thoughts on that? I guess we'll start with the Outlaw late model since we'll keep on that subject and Bobby Pierce getting the championship.
Yeah, I guess we'll beat a dead horse first.
Yeah.
Ruben totally missing the call for probably one of the greatest finishes we've seen this year. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but last lap, Huddy digging on the bottom, typical Huddy fashion, just full bore, and Brandon slid up to avoid a lap car, and Huddy nicked him at the line. But yet they were too focused on Bobby winning the championship, and God knows what place. I don't even remember. Um, and then what kind of bugged me is, did you watch the banquet?
I only caught the end of it.
Ruben kind of having fun with it said the same phrase to Bobby when he was up there interviewing him for the championship. Um, it kind of just rubbed me wrong, but it is what it is. People make mistakes, and unfortunately, Ruben has enough hate that he can't make a mistake, and I feel bad for him. If that was Essex or if that was whoever, Johnny Gibson, whoever else it was, we wouldn't be talking about it, is my point.
Definitely, and I told a lot of people this, including you, that it was almost a NASCAR type of moment, right? If anybody follows NASCAR and they watch that Phoenix final race of the year, they were only honed in on the championship guys. They didn't even show who won the actual race, and it's like, come on, we know they're racing for a championship, but you have to call it how it is, And they had a great finish there. Nobody saw O'Neill, getting that from that far back, so it was definitely an incredible finish and it gets taken away from that. So I know a lot of people have been trashing Ruben about it. Like you said, people do make mistakes, but it just comes back to that whole stigma around Ruben being favored towards Bobby, and obviously he has to be unbiased in his position, but it is Bobby Pierce winning the championship, right? But let's touch on that subject as far as Bobby in itself because he had a terrible weekend. I mean,
Mhm.
he made the shows, but he was not competitive at all. He was in his Eldora car with the white and the pink and the flames. Switches for the final night back to his red car. Still got lapped and still won the championship. I think Nick even closed the gap to minus 56 points at the gold
56,
line.
yeah.
So, what are
Yes,
your thoughts?
yeah. Bobby had a terrible weekend. He ended up getting lapped. So your number one pound for pound fastest late model in the country gets lapped. You don't see that too often. So let the facts be known that Bobby's struggling. He's been struggling recently. I think he squeaked out a few good runs or whatever, but this goes back, man. I feel like we talk about it every two episodes. I think those cars are used up. I think it's time for a new car. And all of a sudden, I think you'll see Bobby, go back up the roller coaster up to highs once he gets everything figured out with a new car. I will go on record and say, the next, well, I don't want to say the next, one of the bigger races we have coming up is the Dome. And if you don't think Bobby's going to perform at the Dome, I think you're mistaken.
Guy that did perform this past weekend, getting 2 out of the 3 wins was Jonathan Davenport. They even wrote Superman on the big check. Obviously, the first night he had problems, and everyone wrote him off, including myself. I thought he wasn't going to be able to recover, and he did prove everybody wrong. It was a Jonathan Davenport show. He stunk up the show. Nobody could touch him other than Hudson O'Neill. But yeah, he looked real strong. Superman doing Superman things. And what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Superman, he had his kryptonite at the end of the Lucas season. Looks like he was back in rare form here at the Charlotte World Finals.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a track that's made for Jonathan Davenport, it's probably Charlotte. I mean, that's right up his wheelhouse. Momentum racing, big, long, loopy corners, banking or not. I don't think Charlotte's near as banked as some of the other places he performs at, but he does well here, and he loves Charlotte. And he's always the one to watch no matter where he's at, and a lot of guys go in tow with that. I mean, Nick runs the bigger tracks and stuff like that, and they're in cahoots or whatever. But there's guys that love these big tracks, and unfortunately, it seems like Bobby's struggling at them lately. So that kind of plays a hand in that. But yeah, JD took him to Boomtown.
And I did mention Hudson O'Neal, who was in the Rumley Engineering #6 car, basically the R&D car for Longhorn. Old Rums was up to stuff again, and well, we have to touch on it because a lot of people are talking about it, and I just think it's funny when people get all fired up about somebody doing something different. And well, if you looked at the pictures of Hudson O'Neal's hood scoop, it was different. It was twisted. It has a different shape to it. I circled it there on the screen so people can kind of take a closer look of the shape. And well, it's got a lot of people talking about it. So, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, this is not the first time we've seen guys mess with it. Going back to Scott Blomqvist, he was always doing crazy stuff like this. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about this?
All right, so science lesson here. And everybody at home do this too, and I'm going to make Jacob do it too. Put your hand in front of your mouth, make a cup, put it in front of your mouth. Breathe out normal. Hot air, right? Now
Yep.
blow out with your lips. Cold air, right?
Yep.
That's what that's for. So instead of having the different, the hood scoop that leaves the breather wide open, getting as much air as possible, he's figured out that smaller air is colder air. He doesn't have to use as much of said air, right? So it would cut through the air better. And there's two reasons. One, you want to maintain motor temp on a big track like this. And with as wet as it was the weekend before, that's stupid important going into this. Now, it wasn't that way whenever they ran it. Props to the whole track crew for fixing that. But he thought in his head, how can I keep this car more aero dependent or aero independent rather, and keep the motor temp down? And that was the answer. And a huge Rumley fan. I think he's one of the greatest brains in our sport that we will ever see. And I secretly wish that car had a full schedule. But no matter who hops in that car, it usually performs. And he's always on the groundbreaking stuff. And that one, I knew exactly when I saw it, exactly what that was for.
Yeah, I always joke around with people like I always compare Kevin Rumley to our modern era Albert Einstein, just because from the stories that I
Yeah.
heard from like Steve Arpin, who says, you know, Rumley never sleeps, right? He just wakes up in the middle of the night and calls Steve and says, "Hey, I want to do this. I got an idea," and just goes in the shop and just does it, right?
Yeah.
He's been very innovative. He's like Nick Hoffman with the UMP modifieds, right? Making stuff that's in the gray area, not in the rule book, and it's up to the sanctioning bodies to whether they outlaw this kind of stuff or not.
Yeah, so we always talk about him being the greatest brain, right? And all this stuff that works and he changes the sport, and which is 100% true. What we don't hear about is the stuff that doesn't work. So I know he's been kind of struggling lately, and he's always going to be trying new stuff. Like he's not a full-time crew chief, guys. He's not God among men of winning a Lucas championship or something like that. But he does his job well, and that's R&D for Longhorn. So anything that he uses and says, "Oh shit, this works," guess where it goes? It goes to Longhorn. So what I'm trying to say is we always talk about the great stuff that he does, but I'm sure there's a whole scrap pile of shit that didn't work or hasn't worked yet, or he hasn't figured out how to make it work yet. But definitely and that's why I'm a huge Remley fan. I've loved that car for no matter who has drove it, and some unpopular people in my opinion have drove it, and but what have you. And I hope he sticks around because he's an asset to our whole sport.
Back around to the champions here because we have to touch on the sprint cars and the big block modifieds a little bit. And obviously, David Gravel goes back to back with the championship. Matt Williamson goes back to back with his championship. No surprise there. It sucks that this past weekend there was no championship battle in all three series, but we still seen some highs and lows of the racing. And well, the sprint cars seemed like they had some troubles this weekend as far as keeping green. I believe on lap 8 they had to do their open red. A lot of people unhappy on social media talking about it. I know our guy Gordy Gundaker was even chiming in on that. So, what were your thoughts? I feel like more people were crapping on the sprint cars than they were excited about the racing.
Yeah, I mean, in my defense, the jokes write themselves, so don't come at me, please. Those things just come right off of here based off what I'm seeing. But I made a joke that said there were so many parade laps for the four wide they probably needed a fuel stop. But um, yeah, and I was gassing Gordy up a little bit too. We were having fun back and forth, and I love Gordy, man. And once again, I hope he never goes anywhere. He's a great, and check out his podcast too. It's phenomenal, and he has obviously a lot more pull and resources than we do. And but I enjoy watching it, and you should not limit yourself just to us. But Yeah, it's an easy pick and target, right? There's an issue in sprint cars and nobody knows how to fix it, and that's fuel. But they go out, they can't even. The feature was what, 30 laps, and they can't even finish 30 laps.
Yep.
And everybody was saying like even if they went green, it was going to be close to them being able to make it. And that's an issue, folks. I mean, they got to start doing something with motors so they don't use as much fuel and get more fuel mileage out of them. I don't think bigger fuel tanks are the answer, but let's not add more danger to the driver just for bigger races. But something's got to be done.
Definitely, and it does suck that negative stuff like this has to be overshadowed because there was some good battles up front.
Yeah.
David Gravel ends up putting it in the wall on the final night there, so he already had the championship wrapped up. But who knows if that could have happened on the first night? Maybe we'd have had something for the end. But Rico looked really strong. I know there's a whole battle between the high limit and the outlaw guys, and Gravel was the outlaw champion, Rico's the high limit champion. So it was good as a sport to see the two top guys in the country battle it out.
I texted you this and and then I ate my words shortly after, but I texted you. Gravel is a top five race car driver I think I've ever seen in my life. Just the amount of talent behind the wheel, the ability to change lanes and do exactly what that car needs to do to perform. That being said, it makes it look that much easier when the car is as good as his is. So we will never know, if it's the car or David. I think it's a great mixture of both. I think you have the top driver and the top car in the country, and they're both working together now. But it was amazing just to watch him kind of maneuver through. Shout outs to Corey Day. He put on a show all fucking weekend. He was just ripping that thing like it was a midget around Charlotte. I mean, just entertaining as hell to watch. And he's going on to I wouldn't even say bigger and better things. He's making a choice currently to go a route that we're gonna miss him dearly because he's a great talent. And he will be back. I have no doubt he's gonna do this and do that. I get it, but I would love to see Corey Day full time in something on dirt.
The next Kyle Larson, they say, and then if you even listen to Corey Day, he kind of sounds like Larson a little bit. So yeah, best of luck to him on his Xfinity or O'Reilly Auto Parts series next year full time with that deal. And moving on to quickly just touch on the big block modifieds. Obviously, congrats to Matt Williamson, but we did have a nasty wreck there that we have to talk about that had the whole dirt world talking. Tyler Seary, and I haven't even seen what happened yet. Not many people have videos or at least sharing it publicly, but apparently flipped and another car clipped him on the left side, left the car absolutely destroyed. He had to go to the hospital. Apparently, he had broken ribs and concussion, and they were X-raying his arm. He did leave the hospital yesterday, according to my sources. So glad he's going to be able to on the road to recovery.
Yeah, I caught that. I was watching that, and the camera caught it right at the last second. It was doing,
Mm-hmm.
its pirouette in the sky, and it came down. Then I saw it get hit, and that's when I looked at my wife. I said, "This one's bad," and everybody went silent. But I kind of want to, I want to rag on something here, and I'm trying to pick my words wisely because I don't want it to come off misconstrued. But I'm not real impressed with Dirt Vision and the whole production on this. They took the camera off. They did everything right during, but you got to give us some sort of updates, right? And we're still wondering. We have no updates from Dirt Vision themselves, right? You guys are responsible for broadcasting the race, commentating the race, promoting the race. You guys are responsible for all of that. You have to keep us updated. I mean, the whole night I was just still in wonder. I'm like, hey, is this dude is he okay for fuck's sakes? And we had heard nothing. And finally, I think today there were some rumblings coming out a little bit. And it wasn't even from Dirt Vision. It was from God knows who, cracked sternum, cracked ribs, do all that. And I'm glad he's okay and everything else. But God damn it, man, you gotta keep the fans updated with what you have. And if you don't have anything, that's fine. Come on there and say, hey guys, we still don't have anything. He was alert and talking. Give us fucking something.
Definitely, I think I learned more just because my buddy was there in person getting updates because, like you said, they weren't giving us anything on the coverage. So it
No.
sucks that we have to get other sources of info from people than that people actually announcing it itself.
And Charlotte racing, I give it an A. Production, I give it a fucking D. And I hope some of that gets fixed in this offseason, man, because it's when you're running number two to Lucas and you're trying everything you can to be the top series in the country, you gotta perform better than that as a business. So and it was just shitty production all the way around all weekend. And I think that's the first time I've actually said that about Dirt Vision and about Woo and about whoever. So I hope it gets fixed. But back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I'm glad he's okay. That's probably a top five worst wreck I've physically seen with my own eyes, not in person, but on TV. And I'm glad he's all right. And I'm glad the car held up. But it was wild, man.
Moving on, something that came across my feed today actually was kind of a surprise. GR Smith Motorsports posted a little sneak peek of something going on behind the scenes with Drake Troutman. I feel like this kid never stops racing. What this is, the first week without full time racing, and he's already hopping in a midget. It looks like here. Now speculations about maybe him making a Chili Bowl debut. I didn't see this coming until just today. So, what are your thoughts on this about Troutman getting behind the wheel of something other than Fender cars?
Like I need a sign. I should have made it. I didn't know the segment was coming, but it's a trap. Don't do it. Um, I mean, if it's for Chili Bowl, I'm all for it, man. That's kind of a spectacle in itself. The cars aren't going as fast there. There's still a high injury risk and everything else like that, but it's a trap, Drake. Don't do it. It's fun. I love midgets. I'm a huge midget guy. Probably the only push and flips that I'll actually, sit down and watch thoroughly. But I don't know. I'm impartial on it. I'm not thrilled about it because I think he's got a bright future in late models, but whatever.
It may be a surprise, but at this point, I'm not surprised because, I mean, let's be honest, the Chili Bowl is one of the biggest dirt races of the year, right?
Yeah.
Indoor race, just like the Gateway Dirt Nationals. It's a time where there's not really anything going on other than, the Wild West shootout is going on. But other than that, all attention's on the Chili Bowl. And that's why we get NASCAR guys, we get sprint car guys, late models, modifieds, you name it. There's people showing up, asphalt grassroots guys, IndyCar guys. Santino Ferrucci's even been running it. So, I mean, I think T Mac kind of paved the way with this when he was able to win the Chili Bowl as a Fender car guy, and kind of paved the way for other guys to be like, hey, maybe I should show up. I don't really got anything going on, and just go run a midget and have some fun. Because I mean, just making the show in itself is an accomplishment.
Then he fucking wins it.
Yeah.
I every year they have the race of champions, and I'm still amazed every year. I'm like, fuck, Team Mac's a winner. I forget about it, then I remember. And I mean, that's a very prestigious list. Like, this isn't just a piss off thing that he's won. Like, this is the one of the biggest achievements in all of racing. All right. I relate the Chili Bowl. It's like the Royal Rumble of racing, right? You never know who the fuck's gonna hop in a car, who's gonna be there. Last year, year before, Kyle Larson said, "Hey, I'm not running it." Then called Keith Coons and said, "Hey, I'm fucking bored. You got a car?" And then all of a sudden, he shows up. Like, it's very WWE like in a way. You just
Mhm.
never know, and that's what makes it so fun for me too. And but yeah, I'm just T Mac is a Chili Bowl champion, and it doesn't sound real coming out of my mouth.
Obviously, it's the last flow racing night in America, race of the year. A lot of guys that are, at the very end of the 2025 season are going to be showing up, trying to chase some money, right? It's a Peach State Classic, 20,000 to win on Friday. Saturday is 30,000 to win, some big money on the line. I know guys are limping to Senoia here because a lot of guys tore up some stuff at Charlotte, including RTJ, where we saw him borrow the car for Jimmy Owens after some issues, and Jimmy Owens literally had his engine let go right before that feature. So if you saw the 20 RT out on Saturday night, it was actually Jimmy Owens, and he pulled off. So, anyways, yeah, guys are throwing stuff together of what they got left as far as engines and fuel and tires, and trying to make some money down here in Georgia. So. I'm going to be there. It's going to be exciting. Shout out to Senoia for approving my credentials. So if anybody needs social media coverage, just let me know. But I'm excited. I sent you over the list of the guys that are confirmed so far, and I would have to say it's pretty stacked here. So yeah, we got RTJ, Alberson, Madden, Brunson, O'Neill, Turbo, Bishop, Moran, Fager, Davenport, Herb Jr., Dotson, Winger, Hedgecock, Team Mac, Mills, guy down at the bottom. So what do you think, CushnBangn? Are you going to be excited to tune in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why would you not? There's nothing else going on, and you're watching the best drivers in the country. And I saw a post the other day that said, "Oh, what if Woo and Lucas could come together and form this great series?" I'm like, you fucking got it. It's the flow. Like, what are we talking about? Why is this a discussion? I was pulling up the points. I didn't know how close the points were, and there's a big gap there. So I don't think, but Bobby's coming in limping, like you said. JD's coming in at here. Ricky's coming in limping. But 537 for Bobby, 489 for Davenport. I don't know the mathematics. Math is not my thing. I don't know if it's possible for JD to take over the points lead, but regardless, these guys are going to go because there is decent money paid out at the end of the year.
Senoia is a unique track. Some guys like it, some guys don't. Obviously, the predominantly Southern drivers do well here, but with that national competition coming into town, it's one driver I think yet you should not sleep on is Trey Mills. We've seen him do very well against some of the top guys this year. He did really well with the Hell Tour. Did well at Talladega Short Track when I was there. So keep an eye on the young Floridian, and yeah, you're going to have your normal guys that are going to show up. That obviously Davenport's probably going to be the favorite.
And Winger's not going to be the favorite. Wouldn't it be his race to lose?
Well, it depends if he passes tech.
Oh, shots fired. Poor Winger catching strays. Yeah, I mean it's hard to beat Davenport in Georgia, right? But this is the I wouldn't say the place Winger built, but god damn it, he's tough here, man.
I want to circle back to that comment because obviously I have nothing against Winger. I think he's a good driver. Didn't have the best year this year. Dropped off the World of Outlaws tour, but yeah, I mean obviously last time they were at Senoia, he got the win. But like I said, he's failed 2 tire tests this year. So whatever's going on over at the Jeff Matthews Motorsports team, they got to clean it up. Make sure that they do pass tech if he does win. But yeah, definitely don't sleep on the 12 car. So before we conclude today's episode, I wanted to show off a little t-shirt design, right? We've been talking about expanding our merch. I know CushnBangn talked about launching a website for merchandise. We already got a hat on there, so go check that out. Link will be down in the description. But last night, and don't judge me on this, I don't know why it came to me, but got this idea with DirtX podcast on the front and only fenders on the back. Got the late model on there. Obviously, we like to talk about dirt late models a lot, so it would be a fun t-shirt for a lot of the fans. What do you think, CushnBangn?
Yeah, great prototype here. We got some, we're gonna, I think, move it up, make it a little bit bigger on the shoulders, on the back, but cool. And I'm honestly impressed with the push and flip fanboy that you are, that this came to you and you actually performed this action. So my heart is full. Thank you.
Well, I am a man for the people, and whatever people are gonna buy and support, I'll do it. So, yeah, as always, make sure to also leave us a comment on maybe some merch design ideas that you guys like. We want some funny sayings, something that you're gonna wear to the dirt track, and somebody sitting behind you is probably gonna laugh or tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt at?" So, yeah, we do appreciate any input on that, and yeah, maybe this will come to fruition, and maybe you can buy it on our merch site. So we appreciate everyone for tuning in today's episode. As always, make sure to subscribe and like. Drop a comment down below. We love you guys commenting your thoughts, and we usually try to comment back and have a conversation. And please tag us in these funny tweets or memes. We love having some more content out there. I know it's getting around the holidays and less people are going to be on social media, but we do appreciate, especially with the off season coming after this weekend. Really, Senoia is kind of the last big hurrah before the dome comes around, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned with that. CushnBangn, though, show us your koozie in case anybody hasn't got their hands on one.
DirtX at DiecastDeals.com. Fuck, wrong way. Use DirtDiecastDeals.com. You get a free koozie with DirtX podcast. And I know a place that's coming up very soon that this will come in very handy.
Indeed, I'll be enjoying mine while I am freezing my ass off in Senoia. So thank you guys for your support, and we'll see you guys in the next one.